Welcome back to our platform and thank you so much for joining today. So, guys, if you are looking for documents to apply for your Portugal study visa, then in this video you are going to get everything. Doesn't matter what happens, but I'm going to give you all the details, all the documents that you need to apply for Portugal study visa. They are going to be similar to each other, like the procedure is almost similar to those who are applying from Cameroon, Nigeria, and Ghana. So I'm going to be talking and giving some breakdown so you actually understand. Now, before we talk about all the details, I want to draw your attention to some few things you need to know. First of all, always remember that there is no interview for Portugal. Okay, if there is an interview, then that should be later. But as I speak to you now, there is no interview. Then HND is not accepted for masters, so you may consider going back for bachelors. Then also remember, if you are from Cameroon, you have to go to Nigeria. If you are from Ghana, you also send your documents to Nigeria. I'm going to explain that in a minute. Remember, some courses are in English and others are in Portuguese. Some, like in the University of Algarve, are in both English and Portuguese. So it is now your turn to make a decision, but I will advise you to go only for English programs. So please put that into consideration, that schools in Portugal usually have admissions. Like admission in Portuguese universities is in phases: phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. When phase 1 is over, then it is not full. Like they have a particular amount or number of students they accept per semester or per year, so or per that intake. So if phase 1 is over and they do not get the number of students they want, they will then open phase 2 and subsequently phase 3. So note this down. Now let's go to the next stage. What are some universities? Remember, I'm talking about visa application and the documents, but I just want to give you a clue of some things to note for those who are new. Please subscribe to the channel. Please finger this video. Please share the video so that somebody can benefit from it. Thank you so much. My name is Milton. If you're just joining our platform, welcome here. Here we help people with information to migrate abroad. Then also understand that if you want to apply for these schools in Portugal, like the University of Lisbon, the University of Algarve, the University of Aveiro, then Polytechnic Institute of Braga and Polytechnic Institute of Lisbon. These are just some few institutions in Portugal you can consider. If you want to apply to any of them, then you should prepare your transcripts ready, your degree certificate ready. If you are going for masters, then your bachelor's degree, like I explained already, if you are going for masters, together with your CV, it is very important for you to put these documents together. Then also remember, you need to write a motivation letter. I explained to you, and this motivation letter you are writing to explain your ambition. You are writing to the admissions team to make them see reasons with you or understand with you or see why you want to study in Portugal. You get my point. Then also an application fee might be involved in some cases. So these are the documents you need. Now let's talk about the documents. After you've applied, you use these documents, you apply to these schools I mentioned before, you will now get admissions. The next thing you need now to do is to apply for a visa. I talked about this in my previous video where I said Ghanaians, you have a consulate in Ghana, but your documents need to go to Nigeria. I equally said Cameroonians, you do not have a consulate nor embassy in Cameroon, so you have to go to Nigeria. I equally brought a video where a Cameroonian got his visa from Nigeria and he asked me to share the details on this platform, which I dropped that video, and I told you people that the person gave me instructions to share so that it can help some other Cameroonians, and all the breakdown and everything. So today let's talk about the documents you need to apply for the Portuguese study visa or a study visa to Portugal. Now, the very first document I want to talk about is your visa application form, and this form is going to come from the embassy. I am looking at my jotter somewhere here. Then you will fill this form and sign it. It is important. Let's go to document number 2, which is proof of school fees payment payment or the payment receipt for your school. Some schools will ask you to pay maybe 750 euros as deposit. Others, like the University of Mino, will ask you to pay 1,000 euros. Like the Cameroonian student that got admissions and a visa to move to Portugal, he applied to Mino. But remember, the University of Mino charged like 5,000 euros per year. But they will ask you just a deposit. Also remember that Portuguese University, and Mino is not an exception, will ask you to pay in installments. So that's the advantage you have. Then also, let's talk about your data page of your passport. And also, you need that data page. You equally need their past visas if you've traveled before. Also understand that all your passport pages, you need to scan all of them, okay, when you are going for this visa interview or when you want to apply for visa. Then also you need a Schengen flight ticket. It is called a Schengen flight ticket because the flight goes directly into the Schengen zone. Flight ticket, it should be booking. You shouldn't pay for it because you still don't know the outcome. You just have to reserve. It is called flight reservation. Now let's talk about the other option, which is proof of finance. In that my other video, there is a video I did already. Check this channel, you are going to find it. Proof of funds to study in Portugal. Please check the videos and watch them. They are all there. And just to add to this particular video, you need a 3 months bank statement. It must not necessarily be 6 months. Then you can also be sponsored. If you are being sponsored, please let your sponsor write a letter of declaration of responsibility. Then you notarize it at the court to be identified. Then you also need your sponsor's ID or passport. It's important. They want to know. Then how much should be in your bank account should be at least 8,000 euros if you are the one sponsoring yourself, or at least 3,500, 4,000 euros if you have a sponsor. Then you also need to have money in your own personal bank account, at least 4,000 euros or more. Even the more the better. I hope you understand. Make sure you have your own account. I am saying this and I will say it again. Your own account is very important when you are applying for Portugal visa. Assuming that, let's just assume, right? So you can see reasons why you need an account. If you are being sponsored and let's say your father is a business person and he traveled to Dubai to get goods. Now, what if your father traveled to Dubai and his money got missing, or he bought good for all his money? Will you still be able to get sponsorship in case you need money at that particular point? No, you cannot. So you need your own bank account. Then your medical insurance have to be for 1 year. You need medical insurance for 1 year. It's so important. So please put this into consideration. Equally, you need a medical report. You have to be tested on malaria, hepatitis, HIV, and I think other illnesses. I can't remember all, but it must come from a government hospital, a recognized government hospital, because when they do that, they are going to give you a form with a letterhead. They know how medical reports are usually addressed. So just tell them you need it for visa purpose. They are going to do it for you. Then you pay them, of course. I do not know the amount. Then you also need accommodation. It's either you get a school accommodation, which is preferably if you are moving for the first year and your first time, or if you want to get outside accommodation, it now depends on you. Milton cannot independently say anything about that. Then you also need your letter of acceptance from the university. It is important. And also do not forget that you need to pay tuition deposit before you can use these documents to apply for your visa. We have talked about that, right? Let's take a look at the other documents you need. You need passport pictures. That's you have to go to a photographer and tell them to snap you. If you know the dimension, excellent. If you do not know, then you have to find out the dimension. Then also you need your school certificate. School certificate is very important. I mentioned all those details in that other video I did about studies in Portugal. And remember, your school certificate and your transcript must be there. And your school certificate must also go through the Ministry of Education, depending on the country in which you are. And if after the Ministry of Education, they will go to the High Court for notarization. Then from there, you now take them to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, okay, for the final process before you can now carry them to the embassy. Cameroonians, the video I did about the Cameroon man who got admission and visa in Nigeria, follow that video and listen to what he said. The video is on this channel to listen to what he said. This video video I'm doing now is for Nigerians and Ghanaians. Okay, then you also need your criminal record. I have talked about school certificates and how to go about them. Or criminal record is a document to prove that you've not gone to jail before, you have not been locked up, you are not a criminal, and stuff like that. And you must take it to a legal practitioner. The legal practitioner here, I mean a lawyer, for stamping. Then after that, you take it for authentication to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. I hope you understand. Then I think that's all you need in addition to your birth certificate, and you are good to go. You now travel to Nigeria, or if you are already in Nigeria, you are good to go. Please watch the other episode I did a few days back, I think a week now, about the Cameroon guy for Cameroonians. If you watch that particular video about Cameroonian, for if you are a Cameroonian, you are going to understand a lot of things. There are many things in that video I will not mention here again. So please go through the video, then you thank me later. I hope this is good for you. Till we meet again in another one.